Shalom, shalom. So this commenter, this is one comment from a string of comments that you can go back and read, was basically saying that we have to suffer in this life, that salvation requires suffering. So let's talk about this, because I grew up in a congregation where it was preached from the pulpit that the more you suffer in this life, the better off you'll be in heaven. And if anybody ever complained about suffering, they were simply told, imagine the suffering that Jesus went through to save you. Imagine being crucified, going to hell, and then coming back. All of the suffering he did on the cross, all of the suffering that he did in death for you. So your suffering isn't really that bad. Can we please all just agree that this is toxic? Following a belief that tells you that babies need to suffer for their salvation, that children need to suffer for their salvation, that anybody needs to suffer for their salvation is toxic. Do you think when God made Adam and Eve, he had them in the garden, they had everything they ever needed, and they lived in this beautiful, beautiful place, that God was like, better watch your backs, because the suffering's about to begin? Do you really think that that was part of his plan? And listen, I am super accepting of most people's beliefs. I am whatever you want to believe, as long as you're not hurting anybody, like, that's fine. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's talk about it. Let's see what we have in common. Let's see what's different. Let's learn from each other. But when I see something toxic, I'm going to call it out. And this is toxic. This whole church suffering is good for the soul mentality, you can keep it.